In episode 3, we had our first look at deflected double weave. Now, everybody loves deflected double weave. I have been asked to do an episode on it for so long, so I was really happy to be moving to a place this year where we could go towards double weave. So for the next few episodes, we're really, for all the rest of the episodes in this season, we are focusing on double weave types of structures. So we wanted to do something in 4 shafts and 8 shafts, so I did a good exploration on 4 shaft deflected double weave. Traditionally, deflected double weave has an even number of threads in the unit. So it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Now those units can be expanded as much as you want. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. You can expand that and make the block any size you want. So I knew that, but I also have this hankering to have symmetry in some of my structures. And we saw that when I morphed traditional M's and O's from a 4-thread half unit into a 5-thread unit so that I could weave huck on it. All right, so those are the little things that I can change in a structure that get me thinking, what if, what if, what if? That keeps me engaged in the game of weaving. So I decided to put a warp on that was alternating 4 picks of black, or 4 ends of black, 4 ends of light across half of it, and then in the other half, I made it 5 ends of black, 5 ends of white. And I did 2 different threadings in this gap. I have a 5-thread end and a 4 or a 5-end side and a 4-end side. Now this is my 4-end side right here. There's 4 white, 4 black. Then this is my 5. So here I had a threading that went 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. How do I change that into 5 ends? It becomes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Kind of sounds like huck, huh? I can weave 5-thread floats. So I made this gamp. Well, it's not a gamp, it's a sampler. And I decided to start working with it, just weaving in solid colors. What can I do? What kind of patterning can I get if I just work in solid colors? In the episode, I present every single possible tie-up, every single manipulation of your 1s and your 2s and your 3s and the 4s. Can my 1s and 2s deflect over my 3s and 4s? And vice versa. All of the different positions, and there's 4 different positions. So you could use 8 treadles to tie up deflected double weave on 4 shafts in every single possible way. So I worked through that, and I created repetitive sequences where I went A, B, and then an A. Then I did B and C and ended in a B. So A, B over and over and over, ending in an A, B, C over and over and over, ending in a B. And I got this amazing little sampler that works through in a very systematic way through a whole bunch of ideas. What happens if I weave A and then 4 picks of plain weave? And I did that in one color. What happens if I weave B and 4 picks of plain weave? Did that in another color. What happens if I do C and 4 picks of plain weave? So it was very systematic as I worked through this whole thing, trying all kinds of different combinations, how to weave it as 2 separate layers. And then I went back and I repeated the whole thing again using dark and light. So I ended up, I got a pin stuck here. I ended up with this unbelievable sampler. I'm going to move that pin. Sorry. Unbelievable sampler with all of these different ideas. With a 4 shafts, a 4-end side and a 5-end side. And then in some places I was actually throwing a 5-pick sequence in the weft. It's a great sampler. You have the whole darned thing. Every single thing that I did is provided in a PDF with great photography. Everything's labeled, 4-end side, 5-end side, and you have what I created right here. And that means that you can start doing your own composition from this idea. All right, so we did that. You have this great big huge beautiful PDF that walks us through what a 4-end side would look like and what a 5-end side would look like. So all of that information is here. We can see that this is not symmetrical, but this is symmetrical. Just so much information in here, presented bit by bit by bit. Anyway, there's the draft. And then there is an image, a photograph of every single towel and all the instructions for how I did it. So let's have a quick peek at this. These are so much fun. 4 shaft deflected double weave towels. First one. I decided to do 4 towels where I play with those colors that I played with first. So it's one of the combinations. The fun part when you have a sampler like that is that we can do great composition. Division of space in 3. And of course, the front and the back are a little bit different on each one. Absolutely. If we have, for instance, if we have horizontal stripes on the front, when we turn that around, we've got vertical stripes on the back in that place right there. Here was the 4th one. I played with one set of pairs of treadles for the top half of the towel, and then there's an opposite set of pairs of treadles that I played with for the bottom. So basically, we have the back of the top. So this, I'm looking at the back side right now. The back side is woven down below on the bottom half of the towel on the front. So that's there. What's on the front is on the back of what's on the top. Cool, huh? Did that confuse you? Anyway, super cool, super fun. And then what can I do if I do all of that again and play with it again in black and white? Front and back are different. And some of these back sides, I just love these cool little sections like this. And here's where we can see how, well, that's not a symmetrical treadling, I can tell. But here, the next one has a symmetrical treadling. All right, hold your shorts, kids. This is what you get. Zoom right into that center section there, Al, as close as you can get. And you can see that those little circles look round. And those little circles look round because that's the 5-end section, and I treadled with 5 picks. Out to the side, there are 4s. There, see? That's 4, and they're squatter. They're not as round as what we have in the center. So those are little things I love to play with. Anyway, you can have them both. You don't have to have one or the other. You can have them both all in the same piece. This side and this side are 4 ends. The center is a 5-end. Here we've got horizontal stripes. Turn it around to the other side. We've got vertical stripes, or they almost look like little checkerboards because of the use of color. So much to be done, so much fun. Playing with graphic is always a blast. And here in the center, there's these 3 odd lines in this piece, across vertically. If you look at the black center section, there's 3 funny looking lines that you see dividing up the space. Right here, pull it out a bit. Right there. There's one right there. And then there's one right here. Right? You can You can see them down the side there. Those 3 slightly different lines. What those lines are is because I created this whole center section from here all the way down to the bottom, where the threads of one entire unit are deflecting over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, from the front to the back to the front to the back, which means there's no take up on them, and that can become an issue. So every now and then, to take care of some of that take up, I had to weave a few picks of plain weave, and that's what those lines are. They're handling some of that take up in this towel from all that deflecting in the same place over and over. So we learned a ton doing this. And we wove all of the selvages with a floating selvage to make our life easy. And there you have our 4-shaft project. Super cool. And then we did some 8-shaft work. And this piece is so near and dear to me because I wove a tiny little wee piece of this way back in 1981 when I took my very first workshop with Mary Andrews at the Banff School of Fine Arts. And all I wove was a piece that was maybe 5 inches by 5 inches, and it was called a type of double weave. That's what she called it. And then later on, I learned that that pattern had come from Mary Meg's Atwater recipe book, and this was published in 1957, and it is called Recipe for a Stole, Pattern from an Ancient Colonial Shawl. So how cool is that, that we take a pattern that I wove a long time ago, that inspired me, that was created many decades before that, and then I find out that it's really, really old. So there it is in this book, and you can get this book, you can get a copy of this book from Eugene Textile Center. That's where I got my copy. I was so happy that it has been reprinted by them, and that's where you can get a copy if you want a little piece of history in your hands. So I thought, if we're going to do deflected double weave, we have to start with that sample, that threading that came from this book through my teacher, Mary Andrews, and now it's channeling through me out to you, and I hope you do something fabulous with it. But it shows that these ideas just keep morphing over the years, through the decades, through the centuries, to become, well, to always be important. To always be important. So again, this was the original piece. Here, let me find it. I wove a great big huge long sampler. Let's start with this one because it hasn't been fulled. And where is that piece? So here is the piece. This little chunk right here is what I wove with Mary Andrews at the Banff Center way back when. And honestly, it was like maybe 5 squares by 5 squares. Little teeny piece. It was woven hard, tight as could be, hard as a rock. You could have used it as a mug rug. It had no drape, no hand. But I've learnt things along the way, and I've learned how to open sets up and how to get beautiful fabric. So that's what the back side looks like. It's a much bigger square on the back, smaller on this side. Anyway, I threaded it up for that, and then I worked my way systematically through all kinds of ideas, playing with different colors, repeating sections over and over, pushing with the original tie-up. Now this uses 8 treadles, but if you wanted to access every single possible treadling option for 8-shaft deflected double weave, you'd need 16 treadles. All right, but this was 8, and I used the 4 from the original sample to come up with all of these different sequences. So I wove it first, and then I wove it again, and I fold it, and I learned how to handle all of the salvage issues that come with this and come up with different options which are presented in the video. All the different ways of doing it. When it is fulled, it completely changes. This is woven in Zephyr. Absolutely gorgeous. Super soft, delicious. And it was woven quite open, but when it's fulled, it locks. That's the cool thing about fulling. So that is all here. You get another PDF for all you 8 shafters that goes through absolutely everything that I did to create that piece of cloth. It's all here. It's been photographed by our darling Sophia. Gosh, I never thanked Sophia. You know, sorry, Sophia. I forgot to thank Sophia, our photographer, who makes all these PDFs for you. Anyway, there you go. That came with it. And then at the end, I wanted to compose a scarf. So this was how we ended it, with several compositions. So this is using that same warp. Lovely little scarf, and it had to have at the beginning and the end of this scarf exactly what I wove the first time around all those years ago. And then I just wanted a simple little repetitive sequence through the whole body of the scarf. So it's quite simple there, but lovely. And if you tied it in a bow or in a knot or all the fancy ways that people wear scarves, which I don't. Scarves make me too hot. I love making them, but I don't like wearing them. Okay, but wait, there's more. So I did that, but then I really wanted to work with this alpaca, and I wanted a bigger graphic, a bigger, bolder graphic, and I wanted color. All right, it's great to learn all of this stuff in tone on tone or dark and light, strong contrast. But then when you're a color lover like I am, I created this piece. And this is with the alpaca. It's absolutely gorgeous, divine. Now, I do like shawls because you can wear a shawl out in the fall when it's cold and not be overwhelmed by it. So that's that. And then I wasn't done. Now, we haven't shown these to anybody yet. We haven't even had them photographed. Sophia went and had a baby. So we lost our photographer. We can't photograph anything until we get our Sophia back. But here is, I'm bringing Mary in. We call our mannequin Mary. So here I am with Mary. And she has the same threading. And we just played with 3 completely different treadling sequences over and over and over, positive, negative in the color, change the colors up. But these are variations from that GAMP, or that sampler. And we did it in 3 colorways. So we'll launch these this fall. Here's one scarf, here's another scarf, and here's the 3rd scarf. And just hold your horses. I got too much stuff here. We also did it again in another colorway. So there's this one in different colors. So you get 3 scarves off of a warp. Really beautiful. Guys will love this one. We were thinking of guys and dolls. Little bow ties. And then, because that wasn't enough, it was like, you know, when you can't decide what color to put in your warp, make them all. That's how we work around here. Oh, I don't know which one, this one or that one. We make them all. So all this work from this episode, the work always continues. Isn't that beautiful? Oh. There's so much, just so much to do. You need to hire yourself assistants. That's what everybody needs. Everybody needs an assistant. Anyway, it's taken me years to get one, but I have one now. It's awesome. I'm not letting her go anywhere. She can have a holiday once in a while, but that's it. she's standing right there laughing her head off. I haven't hurt her feelings one little bit. Anyway, okay, so that's what we did in episode 3, Deflected Double Weave. And next up, we're going to get out Block Double Weave with Barbara Mitchell. Be back in a second.